Now let's look at our second bright fact set, and that's number 3, underage driver. Again, you can do the one about the squirrels first or this one first, whichever one you feel comfortable with. But you want to look at it. You should have read it so that you understand our brainstorming piece. But it's about a guy who said he was called Charles Todd Snyder, and that's really important. We're going to use this whole name in the story. Obviously, this is how this name is supposed to be. So if a person uses his or her middle name regularly, then we will go ahead and do that. And so we'll assume that this is this way here. So some guy was charged with drunk driving in a traffic accident a week ago. So he lives in Dillville, so that's where he's going to be. And he has a few charges against him. He said he was Charles Todd Snyder. He didn't show up in court, right? So the judge had police go to the Snyder's home and bring him in. So about an hour later, and again, we can be conversational here. We don't have to give the exact time. Police show up with Snyder in his mother's arms, right? Well, then we find out he is 13 months old. So that's a toddler, basically. Toddlers are little kids who can walk and they toddle around. So we could call him that. It's important. When a child is small, under the age of 2, usually you go by how many months that child is. It's because they change and grow so much each month. That's a good representation of how old the child is. Now, once we find out, and you can do this lots of different ways, once we find out that our suspect is a child, then we are going to switch and call him Charles. So I'm just going to tell you that. Until we know, at first we think this is a grown-up, right? So we can say Snyder, we can say the suspect, but then we find out, right, that this is a child. So we'll call him Charles after that point. Now, you're not going to find his name in the back of the book, but you will find his mom's name in the back of the book. So every time we talk about the child, we're going to call him Charles. Once we get to this point, we also realize that the suspect, the man stopped for drunk driving, is not named Charles Todd Snyder, right? So we can't call him that anymore. We can call him the man, the driver, the suspect, or something like that. And again, this is a bright, so you may not have an ending here, but your nut graph's going to kind of tell us what's going on. And you're going to have something fun. I can think of so many things that you can do. Remember, I told you our feature story has something in it that is not the way it's supposed to be, right? So 13 months old don't normally get dragged into court. So I can think of a lot of fun things that you can do with this story.